but where were all the fans? There's a hostage situation in Kentucky, 2 teenagers being held at gunpoint. A good friend of the Columbus Zoo has died. And how much are you willing to pay for your news? I'm Christy Perry. Tom Campbell's off tonight. Newswatch 4 Columbus is next.
Jimmy and Jim are on WCMH Television, Columbus, Ohio. Newswatch 4 Columbus is next.
Good evening. The victors returned home today without much fanfare. The Ohio State Buckeye football team got off the plane fresh from Orlando, Florida, where they beat the defending national champions in the Citrus Bowl. Even with their 9-3 season and their redeeming win over Brigham Young in Orlando after losing to Wisconsin and Michigan, there were few cheering fans, few welcome home signs at Port Columbus Airport this afternoon. Doug Lascelles was there to greet them, though, and he'll tell us more about the Buckeyes later in sports. It's a tradition of the season, just like bowl games and New Year's resolutions. At the end of each year, we always see predictions for the next. Ben Piscatelli is live at City Hall. And Ben, what is it? Do you have a crystal ball? What are you going to tell us?
Not a crystal ball, something better, Christy, the star. I think we've all seen magazines like this in the supermarket, and even if we don't buy them, we peek at them in the checkout line. Jean Dixon out with her predictions this year. She's telling us that 3 movie stars are going to die. She hasn't named them. Of course, 3 movie stars die every year. She says Caroline Kennedy may get married. As interesting as this might be, there's nothing in here about Columbus, unlike our story.
Hey, set off, whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see.
It's obvious Doris Day didn't clear this song with Jacqueline Hearson, a Columbus psychic consulted by hundreds of people each year. So we asked what to expect for 1986. And if Jacqueline's right, we'll be able to hold her accountable by reading the Columbus Citizen Journal. She says the CJ will be saved within 2 months.
It's not going to be easy, and they're going to be up and down, up and down. It's going to look like we're going to lose. It's going to come right down to the wire, and then we're going to get it. We're going to keep it.
So Columbus may keep the prestige of being a 2-newspaper town, but what about the campaign to build a convention center downtown and become an 18-hour city with nighttime crowds? The psychic says that won't happen for at least 2 years.
It's going to take a New York firm to come in, and that could happen this year, too, in 6 to 8 months, to come in and put a new disco or a new nightlife spot, so to speak, downtown, and that will start to open us up.
And Jacqueline thinks Columbus will grow as much through 1990 as it has in the past 15 years. That should make Jim Rhodes happy. Jacqueline sees the ex-Republican governor moving into the State House and narrowly defeating incumbent Dick Celeste in November. Maybe Celeste will get a front office job with our new baseball team. Jacqueline thinks an existing Major League franchise will move to Columbus within 2 years. And Keith Byers will be a franchise to some NFL squad by then. The predictions put him in a blue and white uniform, possibly for Dallas or Indianapolis. Christy, I guess a lot of people at home right now are saying, gee, he didn't ask her about the really important thing on our minds, and I did ask her about the lottery numbers. And she said that she could give me a 3-digit winner, but it might not hit for 2 or 3 months, so I'd probably lose if I bet it every day.
Couldn't you have cashed in if she had given you a yes on that?
I'm going back. I'm willing to take a chance.
Did she say anything about Newswatch 4 reporters getting raises?
No, but I predict the report is about to end very quickly because it feels like it's about 10 below out.
All right, come in from the cold, Ben.
Right.
Thanks for the prediction. The new year at City Council begins tomorrow. 3 City Council members, a judge, and a city attorney will be sworn in now that they've all been elected and re-elected to their posts. At noon, Councilman M.D. Portman will once again take his oath of office. He should have it memorized by now, having served on council for years. Returning council members Cynthia Cecil and Ben Espy will also renew their vows later in the day. City Attorney Ron O'Brien will officially take hold of his office another term tomorrow, and Judge Beatrice Sowald will be sworn in late tomorrow afternoon. The family of Elizabeth Root reports that the 77-year-old Upper Arlington woman was alert today in a Rome hospital. She's recovering from gunshot wounds in Friday's terrorist attack at Da Vinci Airport. Sons Jim and David Root arrived in Italy today and were able to see their mother. She was attached to a breathing device, though, and unable to talk. It's not known when Mrs. Root will be discharged. Her sons will visit the U.S. Embassy tomorrow to find an interpreter. They've been unable to communicate with doctors at St. Camilo Hospital. Evidently, no one on the staff speaks English. Police are surrounding a house in Newport, Kentucky right now where a man is holding 2 teenagers hostage at gunpoint. He claims he's killed one of them. 20-year-old Dennis Lucas has been barricaded in the house since 5:30 this morning. Shots have been fired. Police monitoring the situation say Lucas has made demands. He wants $50,000 in cash and some plane tickets to Europe. Lucas originally told negotiators his deadline was 5 o'clock this afternoon. Police did find a body in the Licking River just a while ago, but it has not been identified. It only took minutes for a fire to destroy a small single-story house in North Columbus late this afternoon. At last report, firefighters were at the Warren Howard residence trying to figure out how the fire started. The home was empty when Howard returned and found it burning out of control. That was shortly before 4 o'clock. The cost of your morning news is going up, and as of New Year's Day, Wednesday, the Columbus Dispatch will be more expensive. If you have the Dispatch delivered to your home, you'll pay $2 a week now. That's a 10% increase over what you pay now. Sunday-only delivery goes up to $1 from 75 cents. If you pick up your copies of the Dispatch at the newsstand, you'll still pay 25 cents a paper and $1 on Sunday. Of course, you'll also be getting your Dispatch earlier in the day in 1986 when it moves from being an afternoon edition to a morning paper. The Singletary Plaza Mart has been in the news quite often as the East Side store struggles to remain in business. At stake are a $1 million federal grant, $1.1 million in city money, and according to some black leaders, the future of the Mount Vernon Plaza. Leon, you're telling us today that there's a new plan to save the Singletary Mart.
That's right, Christy. And since this last round of financial problems, Rick Singletary, the owner of the Plaza Mart, has been unavailable for comment, but we were able to catch him the other day, and he explained to us about the new plan.
More than a year after opening as the nation's largest black-owned supermarket, the Singletary Plaza Mart is still suffering financial problems. The $4.1 million store has been closed for almost 2 weeks because of failure to pay the electric bill. But owner Rick Singletary says the store is not dead and will reopen soon.
With the number of donations that are starting to, or contributions that are starting to roll in, we think that we will be able to get the electricity back on in a very short time.
Right now, the Singletary Plaza Mart is operating under emergency electrical power with the few lights you see behind me. But Rick Singletary is looking beyond just getting the lights turned back on and getting these shelves restocked. He has a plan for putting the store back into full operation. The Plaza Mart has received national attention through syndicated journalist Tony Brown's Buy Freedom campaign. And Singletary is hoping that attention will attract contributions to keep the store in business.
With the attention that the Singletary Plaza Mart has been getting nationwide, there have been some local leaders who felt that the time is right to go with a national campaign.
Singletary says the fundraising drive is only to get the business back on its feet.
Our goal is to raise enough so that we don't have to worry about the day-to-day survival as we have been for the last 13 months. We're interested in getting enough that we can retire our outstanding obligations and begin to operate in a normal fashion.
Christy, as you may have seen in the video, the shelves are almost empty at Singletary's. Mm-hmm. And unless this plan works, January 15th may be the last day for Singletary Plaza Mart. He has a date in the federal bankruptcy court that morning.
It's been touch and go the whole way. Now, early on, Leon, I remember several months ago, there were some clergymen and some people in the community getting together and saying that they might be able to raise community money. Did anything ever happen to that?
That was an excellent one-day effort. There was a large number of shoppers there that particular day, but the number of shoppers has dropped again, and unless it picks up, it's over.
All right, Leon. Thanks for the update on that story. We'll be following it more. Director Jack Hanna says the Columbus Zoo lost a friend when gorilla expert Diane Fossey was found murdered yesterday at her mountain camp in East Africa. Hanna says it's likely poachers murdered her to get gorilla meat for native rituals. Diane Fossey was in Columbus earlier this year to lecture at the zoo. She believed in keeping animals in the wild, and Hanna says that made her support of our zoo special.
She really liked our gorilla collection here. She liked the people that took care of our gorillas here. She knew we were sincere. She saw that we have 4 generations of gorillas, so we were doing something for gorillas, not just putting the gorillas on exhibit for people to look at.
Jack was planning to visit Diane in Africa within 2 months. He's going to ask zoo trustees now to honor her with a fitting tribute. Stay with us because we have staked out the best places to watch all the bowl games on New Year's Day, and we'll meet one of the stars of NBC's 227.
This is Newswatch 4 Columbus. Tom Campbell and Christy Perry have today's news for you. The sports is reported by Douglas Ells. And your exclusive weather forecast is prepared by meteorologist Ben Gelber. Newswatch 4 will continue after these messages.
Story on folks who are going to be sworn in at City Hall tomorrow. Beatrice Sowald is not one of those people. We apologize for that mistake. It is Deborah Price who will be sworn in tomorrow to take office along with a lot of other folks in city government. New Year's Day is just around the corner, and one of the most popular pastimes, as we all know, is watching the college football games on that day. Many of the sports lounges here in town, like the Scoreboard or Damon's Clubhouse, have those big screen TVs. Managers of both places told us today that they expect large crowds on New Year's Day. With 5 bowl games on the tube, that's not surprising. These bowl games will include the Rose Bowl, which will be shown right here on Channel 4. New Year's Eve will not just be another night on the town here in Columbus. We found out New Year's party packages in town are going for as little as $27 and as much as $129 per couple. We'll want to look our best for the festivities as well, and we found out today many women are willing to take chances with their hair to look glamorous for that special night.
So they're more receptive to a newer look, actually doing more of the hair, doing color, permanent waves, whatever it takes to look good for that special occasion.
Planning to have your hair and nails done at Kenneth's, add about $65 onto that New Year's Eve package. NBC star Howie Williams was in Columbus over the holidays visiting his parents here. The Columbus native, who was seen in the series 227, told us that opportunities for blacks in television and movies are still very rare. But he said that there are more blacks working in the industry this year, primarily because of the success of the Bill Cosby Show.
I don't necessarily think that the opportunities are so great now. Is that black sitcoms are fashionable. Because of that, just through attrition, there are going to be certain jobs available that were not available when we were out of fashion.
Williams told us also that he's looking into moving into producing and directing TV programs where he might have more latitude in hiring actors of all colors. On this swing around our solar system, Halley's Comet, rather, I've got to remember to pronounce it right, will not be as close to the Earth as it was back in 1910. Back then, people panicked. They were afraid the comet would smash headlong into the Earth. Tonight, Jim Ganal continues his News Extra series, Halley Returns, and he tells us we may have been hit millions of years ago when dinosaurs roamed the Earth.
This is space, the endless sea. A comet out here isn't any problem for us, but when it hits the Earth, it can cause catastrophic events. 65 million years ago, these giant creatures ruled the Earth. Then suddenly, for no apparent reason, they all died. But now there's mounting evidence that this mass extinction may have been caused by a comet. If this theory is correct, a good-sized comet slammed into the Earth. The blast, which would have been 1,000,000 times more powerful than a nuclear explosion, filled the sky with dust and debris. Within weeks, the Earth was shrouded in darkness which lasted several years. Plants stopped growing. The temperature dropped, and the entire population of dinosaurs starved to death. Gradually, the dust settled like a blanket of dirty snow, and today we have found more evidence to support this theory. Experts have discovered a layer of dull red clay dating back to prehistoric time in parts of Italy, Denmark, and New Zealand. This clay contains very high concentrations of a rare element called iridium. Iridium is not native to our world. It can only be found in objects from outer space, such as a comet. This is Jim Ganal, Newswatch 4, Columbus.
Halley's Comet. I'm going to practice that. Up next, it was a journey back to old Columbus town, a musical journey, and Ben's work week forecast may be music to our ears, too. Old Columbus town at the Ohio Theater today. The two men who have been at the keyboard of the magnificent Morton organ collectively since 1933 were in concert at the Ohio today together. Roger Garrett played a double bill with Dennis James. The former was resident organist from 1933 to 1942. The latter is still tickling the magnificent keyboard and gliding over the pedals. They provided the soundtrack to some favorite silent movies like this Laurel and Hardy classic. You sure can play. Sure can. You were saying something about the Halley's series, that theory that we just talked about was very controversial.
Yes, the theory which was advanced during the past 5 years about the mass extinction of the dinosaurs is still hotly disputed. One year it gets more favor among scientists. The next year there's an argument that it was a more gradual cooling. that eventually led to the extinction. We may never really know for sure, but as Jim pointed out, evidence is mounting in favor of that theory. But with science, and anytime you predict something that, or examine something that happened tens of millions of years ago, you're going to run into a lot of dispute.
Sure. Any dispute on the weather today?
No, this is easy. My theory is it's going to warm up a little bit tomorrow, and we shouldn't have much argument. We're about ready for a warm-up, 26 degrees, but with the wind blowing out of the west at 14, it feels like 5, humidity 48%. Our high was 28. We had a little dusting of snow overnight, although that was gone by morning, except for traces here and there on the windshield. That high temperature occurred at 6 o'clock in the morning. We've actually been colder during the daylight hours. Let's take a look at snowfall for the month of December. We've had a lot of it, 3 inches above normal, still well below the all-time record of 17 inches set back in 1960. Yet our biggest snow for the entire month has only been 2.2 inches, so we've had to do it with a lot of little snows. Now, there have been a lot of big snows around the Great Lakes. We've been pointing this out throughout the month of December. 57 inches on the eastern shore of Lake Michigan at Muskegon. Parts of northern Michigan have had measurable snow every day except 1 or 2 since the 18th of November. Now, that's a lot of snow. 58 inches, Erie, Pennsylvania. 68 inches of Buffalo, New York. These are all records. Here are our temperatures. No records here. However, we are averaging a good 6 degrees below normals on both the highs and the lows. Normal high 39. We've been around 33. The normal low just under 25. We've averaged a morning temperature just under 19 with lots of mornings down in the single numbers. Now, we haven't had any big snows, and here's why. This has been the jet stream pattern for the entire month of December. Big persistent ridge of high pressure out west. Lots of fog, as we showed you last night, in Southern California for about 2 weeks straight. That high has been blocking off the Pacific as far as major storms. Now, down comes the jet stream and all the cold air this month. We've been 6 degrees below normal. But notice the Gulf of Mexico cannot get involved with our weather pattern. We do have those Alberta clippers which race south and give us 1 to 3 inches of snow several times a week in some cases, and lots of lake effect snows, that cold air crossing the warmer lakes. But as long as the jet stays in this position, no big storms for us. Now, we will see a change in that jet stream. It's going to level off a bit, flatten out, and if anything, that means milder weather. Cold front came through overnight with a dusting of snow. Skies are clear. Next storm due in Monday night and Tuesday. Afternoon temperatures, teens and 20s, with that reinforcing shot of cold air that came through last night. But it is getting warmer in the south. Miami back up to 75. Tomorrow, we expect a cold day, but milder in the afternoon. The next cold front will be coming in tomorrow night. If it picks up this little bit of moisture over Louisiana on Tuesday, we could get another period of rain or snow, and that might be our more important precipitation. Temperatures in the teens to the north right now, 20s and 30s in the south. The forecast for the rest of the evening hours, mostly clear night, good night to be skating. Overnight low 13 degrees, record low 12 below in 1880. Mostly sunny, becoming breezy, a little milder tomorrow afternoon, high of 35, but that won't keep the skaters away from the Centrum. And as we look at the extended forecast, Tuesday, 37 degrees, rain or snow, but then clearing off New Year's Eve and for New Year's Day. And temperatures getting back down to around freezing.
Okay, well, it's going to be cold. We know that.
Stays cold.
All right. In a moment, Doug Lascelles reports back from the Buckeyes homecoming, and he's going to tell us about a coach's career triumph. To welcome the winners today. Not many others, though.
I was a man alone, I think. There were. I think you got to win a national championship in this town to get a welcome home. I don't know. The Buckeyes are happy anyway. They arrived home from Orlando this afternoon after salvaging their season with a 10-7 win over BYU in yesterday's Citrus Bowl. The Bucs redeemed themselves after losing their last 2 regular season games to Wisconsin and Michigan, and the departing seniors go out on a winning note.
It's a great feeling. I have had a tremendous career here at Ohio State, and I appreciate everything that the coaches have given to me, the knowledge of playing football and the opportunity to attend Ohio State, and I hope to further my career and, you know, graduate now and probably get lucky in the draft.
Before the game, some people were talking about this will be the last time you get to play with them. Maybe, and it's the last time this team is going to be together. So let's try to go out and play the best we possibly can last time. Guys never lost faith in the defense, and we kept playing hard, and we come up with some big hits, and, you know, William and Greg and Sonny and Pepper and Larry and all of us, just, you know, we all pulled together, and we never lost faith.
I thought it would be something like 45-41, and whoever had the ball last is going to win, but Both defenses played really well, and fortunately we made the big play and came out on top.
Okay, pro football playoffs today. The NFC wildcard game in New Jersey between the Giants and the defending Super Bowl champion San Francisco 49ers. Let's take a look at it. New York up 10-3 at the half, and folks, the Giants put this game away in the third quarter. Lionel Manuel takes Phil Simms' pass. He spins upfield for 18 yards. Joe Morris with another big day for the Giants. He picked up 141 yards. This 30-yard scamper sets the Giants up at the San Francisco 3. From there, Simms hits Don Hasselbeck for the quick slant in. The Giants in front 17-3. The 49ers played like anything but Super Bowl champs. They dropped 8 balls on the day. Watch Jerry Rice reject this pass. Joe Montana says, hey, this game's over. I'm sending out for pizza. A hard-hitting game. Ted Watts goes out. Even the referee had to get taped today. And the Giants win it 17-3. They play Chicago next week. College basketball, just one game today. Second-ranked Michigan beats up on Cleveland State 105-85. Well, DeSales basketball coach Vince Ciccarella reached quite a milestone last night when his Stallions beat Johnstown Monroe 56-51. For Ciccarella, his 400th career win against just 139 losses in his 23 years at DeSales. Lyndon McKinley and Capital University. During that time, Ciccarella's teams have won 75% of his games. How does he do it? Well, let's take a look and see.
When we come down here, if they're in a man-to-man, go into your transition. They're probably going to go back into your zone. If you're behind, you got to take your time. We have got to score when we shoot the ball. Not in a hurry. Transition. You got to be ready to break in and out. Let's see, that's just a violation. You can't run with the ball. Cannot. If you don't get it in by after 3, call timeout. We got plenty of timeouts. It's only water. All right, come on. Boy, we need these. Bend the knee, Kyle. Make that first one.
Okay, congratulations, Vince. The man works for a living, huh? The National Bicycle League brought 1 million pounds of dirt into the Ohio Center over the weekend to build a 1,000-foot track for the BMX U.S. Nationals. Dirt bike racing, one of the fastest-growing family sports in the country now. Nearly 2,500 contestants from 30 states were in town for the 3-day competition. Those bicycle motocross riders range in age from 4 to 40. And the Buckeyes basketball team back in action tonight after a 10-day layoff. They play at Texas El Paso in the Sun Bowl Classic.
I could not ride one of those little bikes.
Especially over all those hills.
Hundreds of pounds of dirt. Well, anyway, we'll be right back. Newswatch 4 NBC Nightly News is next, and Doug, Ben, and I will be back at 11 o'clock, so join us then.
The Associated Press has recognized Newswatch 4 as the best regularly scheduled newscast in Ohio.
And 1 man is dead.